So what have you found to be, aside from being on this podcast, obviously, what have you found to be the most effective forms of marketing, and how are you getting the most bang for your time and money?
I am not the greatest person to talk to about marketing. I don't understand it. It's like this whole black sorcery world that, like, they're witches and warlocks, and I don't know who decides what and how things happen. And, I really I just write for the most part. I'm on Instagram. I'm a little bit on Twitter, but not much. Twitter scares me. I'm afraid of always making a misstep on Twitter. Instagram's really nice. The Bookstagram community is lovely. So I post a bit on Instagram and develop friendships on Instagram and take other people's suggestions and support other authors. I don't really do very much publicity and marketing. That's why I wanted to be traditionally published. I don't really want to do that stuff. I want a publishing house to do it because I don't know how to do it. So, I do a few Facebook ads now and then. I don't know if they do anything. I did a BookBub ad. I see that I've had 5,000 clicks, but I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know what that, how that translates. So I really mostly leave that to the publishing house.
We should mention that you were referred to me through our previous guest and one of my favorite publicists in the world, Megan Beatty.
Yes.
Have you been working with Megan for long?
Just on this book, and she's wonderful. And she, finds opportunities like this for me to chat, and I just do what she tells me. And and that's really, you can't be good at everything. And so I think if you want to write and you're not good at publicity or marketing, then you work with publicists, right? And you work with the marketing team, and you let them figure out how to move your book in that space.
Makes sense. So that's something I always try to emphasize when I'm doing workshops for up-and-coming writers. For example, if I'm talking to somebody that's firmly committed to independently publishing, and they say, I've got a great idea for how I'm going to design my cover, my first question is, has anyone else ever paid you money to design a cover before?
Right.
If
Exactly.
not, don't be your first patron. Let's get somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yes, that is exactly true. And so that's what I try and do with all the publicity and marketing. Let people who are really good at it do it for me.
Makes sense. But Nancy, I could go on talking with you all night. I know we've already blown past the time I told you we'd call it, and I'm concerned as we get later in the evening because I spent about 6 hours running around a beehive that had pumpkins in it. They called it a pumpkin patch, but there were so many bees, and that's my biggest fear. It's not spiders, not snakes, it's bees.
Bees, okay.
Why I wrote a book about giant robot bees, and I've written things about bees forever. Actually, I was telling one of the teachers today while we were out and about on this field trip. I was a chaperone parent for my son.
Wow.
Well, it was a great time, but I'm also a little bit worn out, which is why I know that we need to wrap this up before I become completely incoherent. But I was telling them about the time I got hypnosis because I discovered it was something I could get on my insurance plan at the time. So really, you guys will cover sessions of that? And I was writing a different book about alien abduction, and I didn't have any alien abduction experiences, but I thought, well, I could at least undergo hypnosis, and I'll have that part right for my story. And so I went and I sat and I said, please make me not afraid of bees. And after about 3 different sessions, still nothing. So I sat today. They insisted on reading a story in this tent where there were 3 trash cans on either side of the tent.
Oh my gosh.
And there were bees crawling on the kids' faces. There were bees crawling on the woman reading the story. I was like,
that's horrible.
Why has no one pointed out to this pumpkin patch to move story time away from the trash can?
Wow. Yeah, that would drive me crazy too. I mean, bees go in with everything else I'm afraid of insect-wise.
That is my greatest fear. Like if I had the choice between swimming with a couple of great white sharks or dealing like 3 bees in a room, I'm going sharks.
Wow. Okay. Bees are top of your list.
Top of my list. So now I've just given all of my enemies my great secret if you're looking to get at me.
For me, it's a spider. It could be that big.
Well, that's what I hate about them. It's not wasp. It's specific to bees, because wasp I've been stung by before. I know how to handle them. They're big enough that you can spot them. It's those tiny little bees that get in close and then they just disappear. Yes. And something's going to hurt me, and I'm never going to see it coming because it's too close.
Yes, they go down your shirt.
Oh my Lord. Yeah. It's just horrifying. Or up the pant leg.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask you, well, you know what? I mentioned alien abduction, so I better for sure ask you, Nancy Richardson Fischer, have you ever seen a flying saucer, and do you believe in them?
I haven't, but I believe. And my whole life, ever since seeing Cocoon and the Close Encounters of the Third Kind, I wish with all my might that they are real and that they will take me and my husband, because I don't want to go without him. But I would jump on, as long as I'm not going to be a medical experiment. I do. This world is too small to be it. There has to be more out there. There are galaxies and galaxies and galaxies. So I'm a firm believer.
Well, it seems like we're quietly getting disclosure at this point. Just because without getting political, the government has been in such disarray. Every year there's a major story that gets buried under all the other news. Right. Like, for example, 2 years back, the government admitted that it has flying saucer technology, like straight up to the New York Times.
I know. No, there's so much we don't know. I wish we knew. We don't. Maybe at some point we will. I hope in my lifetime that something happens like that.
All my fingers are crossed. And I always say when we talk about this is that if you could prove to me that it wasn't true, I wouldn't want you to, because I like living with that hope that we're not the top of the food chain, that there is something else that could come along, and hopefully it's kind and helping and wants to, bring us into that Star Trek utopian universe. Yes, I hope so. I'm a huge Trekkie, so if you play the music from the original Star Trek, any episode, I can tell you which one it is. Right from the beginning music. That's how much I love it. So when are you going to write another science fiction book or a horror story? You have all this love in you for the genre. I don't know. I think horror would be the next one. So I'd like to try, give it a little try. So that would be young adult, you think? Maybe not. I like to swear when I'm writing. So I think maybe adult.